What can you tell me right now I'll instantly regret learning? You can get bed bugs from a movie theater seat. Entomologists who study cockroaches often become allergic to them. At the same time, they become allergic to most brands of pre-ground coffee. You can disembowel yourself by lifting weights that are too heavy. Edited a letter. Over 500,000 children under the age of 5 die every year from diarrhea. There is probably a combination of foods flavors on some distant corner of the world that you would absolutely love, but you may never get to taste it in your lifetime. Same goes with music. Among other things, alcohol consumption may lead to cancer of the rectum. Takes drink. Edit. So this is how you get Reddit karma. I had like 200 something when I went to bed last night. Happy cake day me. You know the little girl who voice acted Ducky from The Land Before Time? Her father murdered her with a hammer. Shot and burnt her. As well as her mother. Then killed himself. Thanks to below. Odds are, one of the things you do as a part of your daily routine will likely cause your demise. Hamsters are cannibalistic. Baby chickens at factory farms are checked for gender once they are hatched. And tossed immediately into a meat grinder if they're male. Babies are born with a thick substance covering them called vernix caseosa and looks like white quizo. The translation for vernix caseosa is cheese varnish. Enjoy your baby cheese. One day your parents put you down. And they never picked you up again. The fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel is based on a period of famine where people really did lead their kids into the woods and leave them there because they couldn't feed them. Raw oysters are alive when you eat them. Cows are best friends. The reason we know this is because of the intense stress they exhibit when they get separated from their BFF. Open bracket. The astronauts aboard the Challenger were most likely alive and conscious after the rocket exploded and they were hurtling to their deaths. Seals have been found to RP and occasionally eat penguins. Edit. I'm so glad this is now my highest rated comment. Just above a post I made about incest. What a legacy I have. There are more slaves right now than were ever in slave-owning America. After the dissolution of the USSR, many nuclear warheads went missing and remain so to this day. Edit. As a bonus, India and Pakistan have thermonuclear bombs and threaten to use them against each other on the regular. Most no-kill animal shelters just make someone else do the dirty work. Koalas are so stupid that if you place a eucalyptus leaf on a plate in front of them they won't eat it because they don't know what it is unless it's on the branch. Also koalas' teeth don't grow back after they wear out, so when that happens they just starve to death. During pregnancy, at roughly 16 weeks, the fetus develops a soft downy mustache. This hair, known as venugo, then spreads across the rest of the fetus and by 20-ish weeks it should cover the entire body. This hair can be seen on many premature babies as some may be born delivered before they'd naturally shed the hair. However, when they do stay in long enough to shed the hair, they then eat it while in the womb. This first meal of their own fur makes up a child's first shit. Once every year, you pass the future anniversary of your death. The amount of pressure exerted when you pinch your thumb and forefinger together is enough to pop a human testicle. Edit. You're your problem. Some people do not wash their hands after using the restroom masturbating. And there is a good chance you have touched one of those people's hands directly. Edit. I don't know why so many of you felt the need to tell me you are that person. Also, yeah, most people have probably held a dick. Good job. There is a legal limit, per ton, for the number of mouse droppings that can be found in flour. Flour that is used for food production, human consumption. That limit is not 0. Most people consider themselves to be at least 30% more attractive than other people find them to be. Birds have no ring muscle, meaning when a bird flies over you, you are always in danger. There's still poop in the shrimp you eat unless properly clean, which chain restaurants don't do. According to a legal facts book I once read, an economy-sized jar of peanut butter is allowed, by FDA standards, to have 210 insect parts and 7 whole rodent hairs. If you are single in your 30s, your chances of finding a long-term partner is already drastically reduced. Happy masturbation everyone. The 9-11 search rescue dogs were getting extremely depressed from only finding dead bodies. So depressed that they couldn't work anymore. So the firemen hid in the rubble for the dogs to find them. So they can at least cheer them up and at least help their future PTSD. River dolphins are known to violently repay people. If they can't find a person, they'll bite the head off a fish and FCK its dead corpse like a fleshlight. Have a great day, friend. Asian fish farms, usually in China and Vietnam, often feed shrimp and tilapia a diet of pig and or goose manure. Even though 86% of seafood sold in the US is imported, the FDA only visually inspects 7% of it and only tests 1% for toxins. The pillows in hospitals are reused until they are basically falling apart. Pillows in hospitals are used to position incontinent bedbound patients by propping them under their backside and under their thighs so they don't get bed sores. The pillows get covered in urine, feces, saliva, mucus, drainage from wounds, blood. People die on those pillows. They are plastic on the outside, so they are, hopefully, just wiped down with a bleach wipe when the room is cleaned. Then covered with a new pillowcase and reused. When a fly lands on your food, it actually throws up on the food to break it down before eating it. Enjoy your next picnic. Giraffes pee in each other's mouths to help determine the health of the other and find a quality mate. The Japanese, after they invaded China in World War II, would dissect people alive, have contests where they would bayonet babies thrown into the air, and had a swinging tree where they would take children by the ankles and swing them into the tree head first and kill them. And these were the lesser of the evils committed there. Most of the permanent installation and the ceilings above you were built by the lowest bidder in as short a time as possible. About 30% of kids and 15% of adults have a parasitic worm that lays eggs on their anus and causes itchy asshole. Bastards are most active at night. And if you scratch your ass and somehow scratch your mouth, you're continuing the cycle. If you're laying in bed trying to sleep and you have a mad itchy ass, you probably have them. In 1991, two 10-year-old boys abducted a toddler named James Bulger from his mother in the middle of a shopping mall and took him by the hand to a train track. They tortured him and eventually beat him to death before leaving his body across the tracks for a train to cut in half. Your mouth to anus is pretty much just one super long tube with sphincters along the way. Childbirth can result in perineal tearing, and sometimes the split goes all the way between the vagina and anus for a joyous union. Your eyes aren't recognized as a part of your body by your immune system. However, if your immune system happens to notice the presence of your eyes, it will see them as foreign objects and attack them. It often happens right after invasive eye surgeries, but it could happen at any time. It always results in blindness. If the sun explodes, we will not know it for 8 minutes and 20 seconds, since that's how long it takes light to get from the sun to Earth. So really, the sun may have exploded 5 minutes ago and we only have about 3 minutes and change before we die. There are thousands of songs about love and breaking up, but only one about the boys being back in town. Pandas often kill and eat their babies because they literally didn't even notice giving birth to them and are then very surprised and freaked out. It is almost impossible to not get cancer. If you extend your lifespan long enough, you will get cancer. All it needs is time to eventually lead to harmful DNA mutations during cell division or from environment. Those groups of gnats that swarm in a massive bubble that you accidentally walk through. Yeah, that's a giant gnat orgy. Edit. Gnat. You know that thing where the flight attendant tells you to put on your own mask before helping others? I had a dear friend who was a flight attendant. I am a critical care nurse. She said to me, "What they don't tell you is that if you don't get it done in about 15 seconds, you will lose consciousness. And in 5 minutes without oxygen, you would be dead." Double quote. There was a piece of music you heard once that you enjoyed, but you don't know what it's called and you will never hear it again before you die. Edit. For those commenting with songs you like, you missed my point. I'm talking about songs you cannot and will not identify. Ever. Some of them are songs you've forgotten all about. If there was a song you lost and you've since found, congrats. But that's not what I'm talking about. Going with the Hansel and Gretel style message. Sleeping Beauty was literally that she was knocked out and raped and woke up years later finding out she'd had 2 kids with her rapist. There is a porn doujin about a humanoid cow that goes into great detail about milking and how beef is made, making it as tragic as f***ing possible. Like, seriously, very much a can't fap. Busy crying situation. Figs are inverted flowers filled with mostly liquefied insects in them. Fig wasps. When you eat figs you are almost certainly eating insects. There's every possibility that we all perceive colors, sounds, tastes, feelings, scents etc. differently from everyone else. But it is impossible for anyone to ever prove it as we all have the same points of reference. Every 60 seconds in Africa, a minute passes. Mr. Rogers believed in God, helped children, ate healthy and watched his weight within a few pounds. Died of stomach cancer. You know how a lot of people get cold sores as a result of oral herpes simplex virus 1, HSV1. And we react without alarm because you can get it as a child from normal non-sexual contact with your parents? It is possible, even without showing symptoms, to transmit oral HSV1 to your partner genitally when performing oral sex. They would then have genital herpes. The World Health Organization estimates that 50-70% of everyone alive has HSV1 orally. So next time you go down on someone, buckle up.